Hello folks, and welcome back to another video on my channel. This week we are doing another Valentine's card. This one features some mirror stamping techniques and some of my favorite stamp sets from Hello Bluebird. So first we are starting off by just removing this foam piece in my Misty kind of, and I'm placing in a piece of acetate. I am then taking my frog stamp I want to mirror, as well as one of these mirror stamps from Paper Smooches, and I'm making sure that they line up and they kind of kiss together. Then I'm inking up my little frog and kissing him onto the other side, just making sure to get a good clear transfer. This will help me mirror my image so I can have two frogs facing each other for my card. I'm then removing my acetate, putting back this foam piece in, as well as some cardstock that I will stamp my image on, as you are seeing here, and coloring later. So as you can kind of see, my image isn't the clearest when I take it out of here, and that is because I'm using the Gina K ink, and while it's a great ink, it just probably isn't thick enough or opaque enough to kind of give a solid black impression, but that's easily fixable with going over it with a Copic Multiliner. Here I am stamping out just the normal frog stamp, and as you can see, I successfully have mirrored this frog image for today's Valentine's Day card. So here I am going over my image, as I said, with my Copic Multiliner. It is in 0.5 thickness and it is black. I had just learned that they also have these multiliners in other colors, so I thought I'd mention that this is the black one. The mirror stamping technique isn't something that I kind of came up with. It was something I had seen in a Jennifer McGuire video, and she does go into a bit more specific details with it if you are still a little bit confused, because it can be confusing. So I do have a link down below for, you know, her video if you want to check that out in case you are just a little bit puzzled with what to do. So here I am coloring some of the other images I had stamped out for this card. So they are images from the Garden Friends stamp set and the Garden Party stamp set. They both work really well together, and they're both from Hello Bluebird. So here I have just some of my favorite images. I really cherry picked what I like, and I really like the mushrooms and these little bugs playing instruments because they look so cool, specifically the one playing the fiddle. He is probably my favorite stamp set or stamp image of like all time. I think I mentioned this in my first ever YouTube video because I used this stamp set as well, and he's just so cute. So here I am coloring in my little frog dude. I'm using basically the same colors I used in my first video with these frogs. So that is YG67, YG63, and YG61. And I'm just adding in my darkest, moving into my lightest, and then after I have a flat wash of color, I'm going to stipple in some little dots here and there to give him more of a froggy texture. I also forgot to mention this, but when I was coloring the little, I don't know, grasshopper kind of playing the fiddle, I intentionally did color some of his wingspan green, just trying to connect his body to make it look like his wings were transparent. If you kind of understand what I mean, I'm sure when you look at it, it makes more sense. But I just took a lighter shade of green, kind of connected where his body should be, and went over that with a warm gray 000, I believe. Just a really light kind of shade for his wings, so they look kind of transparent. It was something new to me, and I think it looked really neat. So here I am coloring in my little mice. My mice, I am using E37 and E35 for the little ukulele, I guess he's playing. And then I'm using the E35, E31, and E30 for the main body of the mouse. And then later I'm going in with R20 for some little pink details on his cheeks and ears. For my little snail here, I am making his shell pink, So I'm using R22, R20, and R12 for the shell, and then I'm bringing in E31 and E30 for his body, I guess. Yeah, and then here I am coloring this little mushroom stalk piece, I guess, and I'm using YR24 and Y26 for that, and I'm getting in a good blend, and then once that is kind of ready and I have a solid foundation to work with, I'm going in and adding some streaks to add more texture to my mushroom. I am also adding those same YR24 and Y26 for some of the stripes on my bee, and then I'm taking E31 and E30 for the other stripes on my bee, alternating them. I'm also taking in some R12 to his wings, and then I'm going in and adding some WOOO again to them just to make them look like transparent wings. So here I'm taking that R12 and kind of laying it down a little bit, and then I'm blending it out with some E31 and E30. I tried to add some pinks into my brown combinations just to kind of keep a more cohesive color palette and experiment a little, because I just thought it would be an interesting look if I could pull it off, and it kind of worked, so it pays off, I guess. I am also using those E30s and E31 for this the gills of the mushroom, I believe they are. And then for the mushroom top, I am using R22, R20, and R12 yet again. For the majority of the coloring, I am using the same color combinations just to kind of keep my color palette cohesive so everything works together. Keeping in with my Valentine's theme, I decided to also throw in some reds into my colors here. So I'm coloring this mushroom top with R35, R32, and R12. So there are some big jumps, but they actually blended quite smoothly, and I really enjoyed the way this color combination turned out. So I find it wasn't super red, but it was just red enough to add some interest to my card. So as you can see here, I'm coloring a few mushroom tops with that red combination. So when I was coloring my mushroom tops, I really tried to avoid coloring over these little kind of spots on the mushroom, but in the end I ended up coloring over some of these because I just got so annoyed with it, and I ended up coloring over those with a white gel pen in the end to make the spots white again. So, you know, go ahead, do that, be a little lazy, because it still pulls together in the end if you use the white gel pen. So here I am coloring in my little butterflies, so I'm adding in some R12 just in streaks to the wings, and then blending that out with W00, and then I'm using my Ys for the body. I kind of realized halfway through coloring these butterflies that it looks strange that their wings are transparent, but I just couldn't be bothered to go ahead and fix that, and I thought it looked quite cool. So hey, maybe they're not butterflies, maybe they're just bugs with really big transparent wings, who knows. So here I have this large stitched rectangle. I used the Scalloped Slimline with hearts from Fawn, but any slimline die will really work for this. I'm also taking out my wavy stitched Hillside border dies from Fawn. So I just kind of laid out where I want them to go on my seam and taped them down with some purple tape, and then I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. I have my rectangle die cut. I have 2 pieces near the bottom that are going to be hills, and then the top portion will be the sky. So for my hill pieces, I am using distressed Oxide inks, specifically in Mowed Lawn and peeled paint. So I'm adding some peeled paint near the bottom and then Mowed Lawn on the top. I actually did this sort of combination when I did my very first card video, which I will have a link here if you want to go watch that one. It is quite old, and you can definitely tell because I have grown a little bit since making them. But yeah, I'm just kind of using that same combination because I liked it, and I'm just making sure I am getting a good blend with my inks here. And I'm also using a scrap piece of paper to prevent me from getting any fingerprints in the wet ink. So moving on to my top sky piece, I am using squeezed lemonade near the bottom where the sky will meet the hillside, and then I'm going in with some spun sugar because it's a Valentine's card and I wanted to go with more of a pink theme, and then I'm blending that into worn lipstick. Of course, this card I feel like really could be any kind of card. It could be a thank you card, a welcome card, a hello one. You just gotta really play around with the color combinations and stuff. So I mean, this card could really be whatever you want it to be, but in this instance I decided to make it a Valentine's card. So you know, feel free to do whatever kind of sky you feel like is funky, whichever one kind of catches your eye, but I thought this color combination kind of suited what I was doing. Just to further push my Valentine's theme, I am taking this Love is in the Air stencil from My Favorite Things, and I first taped down my card sky piece, and then I taped down my stencil on top. And here I am using these brushes that are very densely packed, and I'm using those to place on my ink. And when I'm doing that, I am making sure to kind of brush in all different directions to really push the ink through the stencil, just to get a really good solid impression so you can really see the hearts. I have tried using just a glitter paste through this stencil before, and because the hearts are so tiny and so fine, it can be hard to get like a really good kind of heart shape out of the stencil. So I do really recommend using these finely packed kind of brushes, if you do have them at your disposal of course, because they really helped kind of make a really nice heart stencil on my background. Just to add some interest, I am taking some clean water and a clean paintbrush and my hillside pieces here, and I'm just going to flick some of the water onto them, wait for, you know, about 30 seconds for it to kind of activate with the inks on the paper, and then I'm going to dab that off. Here I am taking some vintage photo distress ink and activating that with some water and adding some brown splatter as well to the ground, just to add some interest and some texture to my fields, because I thought that they were just a little flat for my tastes. And because I am just on a splatter craze here, I am also adding some to my sky, just to kind of keep it cohesive, because it would look strange if this didn't have splatter, in my opinion, when everything else does. So I just added some to my sky to kind of keep it cohesive. So once my sky piece had dried, I'm going to go ahead and stamp on a sentiment before I start, putting things together on my card. So I am taking this stamp, or the sentiment, from the Garden Friend stamp set, I believe. It reads, "You are totally awesome," so I thought that'd be very cute for Valentine's Day. And I am stamping that in Lobster ink from Fawn. I then decided to go ahead and emboss over that, so I'm taking some clear VersaFine and making it sticky, and then I'm going to use some ruby embossing powder from Micheals, but I think any sparkly red would work really well. I just wanted it to kind of pop a little more and have more emphasis, and this one is just really pretty because it has glitter in it. So after I clean up my sentiment with a little paintbrush, little specks I don't want to be there, I am then going to heat set my embossing powder with my heat gun. So here are all of my inked up pieces ready to be assembled. So instead of just gluing them one on top of the other on top of a card base, they might shift a little, there might be gaps. So I decided to tape them together just to kind of keep them together in one piece, because I just thought it would look better and I would reduce the risk of me leaving gaps or kind of having these offset, because that would bug me. So I'm just taping them together from the back with some clear Scotch tape, and then I'm going to glue that or mount that onto a card base using my ATG gun. I had kind of scored and cut the card base off camera. It is 7 inches by 8.5, and it is scored on the 7-inch line at 3.5 inches, because my little card panel that I'm mounting on here is 3.5 by 8.5 inches. So here I am taking that white gel pen and kind of going over these little spots on my mushrooms, as I had said before, because I had colored over them, and just to kind of clean it up a little bit. I also am just adding white gel pen to all my images just to add some definition. And here I am just gluing my little mouse dude onto my mushroom. He's sitting there, he's chilling, he's playing the ukulele, he's having a good time. And then I am proceeding to add that same white gel pen to just all of my mushrooms to make them look nice and clean. And I'm just gluing my little bugs onto my mushrooms. So here I have my little images laid out in an order that I like, and I'm going to be mounting them onto my little card base here using a mixture of both liquid glues and some of these thin foam squares, just to kind of add some dimension and some interest. So yeah. So to finish off my card, I am going in and adding some black gel pen and some sparkle gel pen. I did that off camera. And I'm also gluing on some of these little polymer clay hearts. They are from Paper Rose, and they are the Heart Shaker Mix. So I'm just adding an odd amount here, and I'm gluing them down with my Fawn liquid glue. I use the Fawn liquid glue pen for gluing down the majority of the things on my card. It's just one of my favorite liquid glues. And to kind of add some more finishing details, I am taking some Glossy Accents from Ranger, and I'm applying those on top of the wings of all my little insect dudes and on top of these little polymer clay hearts, just to add some shine. It is self-leveling, and it does take about 24 hours to dry, so I'm just gonna let that sit in a place where my cat does not roam. so he does not get glue everywhere. So I would like to especially thank Maureen Simon. She most recently uploaded this video that really inspired me to make this Valentine's Day card, so I'll have it linked below. I also have links or products in the description if you are wondering what I was exactly using in this video, and that's about it. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to comment, like, share with your friends. It's all a good way to support the channel. Also feel free to subscribe if you really like what I do and want to see more from me. Also be sure to press the little bell icon to get notifications for whenever I post videos onto my channel here. And I also have an Instagram linked down below if you want to go check out my Instagram and follow me there and see what I'm up to. I'd love to see what you guys make as well on Instagram, so feel free to tag me in anything that you see. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching. Thanks for the support. Have a lovely day, and I will see you guys next time.